Built up in Buffalo, and I'm running late, and I don't wanna miss the show. Hey there, cowgirl, which way's the rodeo?
In the barrio, we drank red wine and ate cold gazpacho. While she got fixed, I turned on the radio. Sugar Ray was fighting Carmen Basilio.
Listen up, Buster, you've made a lucky match. You caught me in the middle of a purple patch, so don't waste your time with that old boxing match. Mount up, partner, we got a dream to catch. Hey, cowgirl.
1 2 1 2 1 2. All right, why can't we hear it out there?
Don't wanna miss the show. Hey there, cowgirl, which way's the rodeo?
Hi there, little lady. You got a horse for sale?
How much we talking, honey?
I was hanging out in the bar Michelangelo, chewing the fat with Bill, who I didn't know. He said, if you're ever down in Gallup, New Mexico, be sure to call at the Hotel Arapaho. They got women down there that you won't meet every day, except maybe on the pages of photoplay. The one I took a shine to look like Doris Day. If you track her down, here's what to say.
Hey, cowgirl, which way's the rodeo? I've got your name off a bill up in Buffalo, and I'm running late, and I don't wanna miss the show. Hey there, cowgirl, which way's the rodeo?
Well, a sign above that bar made things awful clear. Abandoned, open, all either end to here. I hadn't sat down yet or ordered up a beer when Doris Day was talking in my ear.
I understand that you're looking for a date. We always try our best here to accommodate, but I don't get off work till 20 after 8. If you want my secret love, you're gonna have to wait.
I'll be waiting.
Hey, cowgirl, which way's the rodeo? I've got your name off of
2, 1, 2. Right, why is that not loud enough? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, my name is Piers Thompson, and I am not getting enough out of this desk. Why is that? Is it because it is so low? That's a bit better, yes. Still not very loud, though. All right, what's that all about? A little bit of top, does that help? Yeah, that does help a lot. Take the bass off. Give it that. Is that helping me? No. Why is that better on that side than the other side? I'm speaking both parts of my mouth. All right, 1, 2, yeah, okay. Right, I think we've got out of the woods there. It was the old turn it off and turn it on gag.
Name of a bill up in Buffalo, and I'm running late and I don't wanna miss the show. Hey there, cowgirl, which way's the rodeo?
Hi there, little lady. You got a horse for sale?
How much we talking, honey?
I just go down. And here, Fabi, could you do me a favour and talk in here when required? So, yeah, so I'll kill that. So, my name is Piers. I had some black pudding and tomato for breakfast this morning. It was really delicious.
Makes sense. Is that there? That one? Does it work now? Okay. I got this bag recently. Really enjoying that. That's a charity shop number. Put it in the park the other day. Got covered in mud. Not my finest moment.
So the trim is the way you negotiate Grace, could you give us
Is
something?
that loud enough though? I'm so sorry. What's your name again?
Fabby.
Can you speak one more time?
Yeah, of course. Oh, I can hear it now. I think it's working.
Okay, cool. So it's just like just the game then. Okay, cool.
Great.
Perfect.
Yay.
Hello, 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 hello. Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up?
Keep going from there.
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, I think it's fine. You just might need to speak a bit loudly.
Hey.
It's fine. Yeah, just like project your voices, guys, when you're speaking, and then we'll be fine. Cool.
And then you are
And then
on there. You're
Am I
four.
up? No. Cool. Hello, hello, hello. Why are they playing out so low?
Well, all
Hello.
the levels seem to be really low for a reason I can't.
Do they normally look like? I see that. That's fine. I think actually it's to do with. Guys, would you? Sorry, give one more go. Would you, instead of speaking into it like that, would you speak into it, holding it, facing your voice?
I'm speaking into it the correct way now. Like I'm Elvis Presley, but I don't think it's coming through. Not sure though.
No, it's not. There's something not
Oh,
right.
because you may have turned it off. Is that?
No, I didn't.
I know it's not. Hold on.
Okay, mine's working. We could always give mine to someone else.
Right, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Is that coming better?
That one works, yeah.
Yeah, great. Cool.
What did you change there?
I think it was may just been the angle of the.
Oh, it was me. Nice.
All your bloody fault.
Yeah.
Cool, fine.
Right, so this is our perspective. Key is going to be here. Great.
And I've got to sprint off at 4:30.
Yeah,
Is that all right?
don't worry.
Sorry,
Faye-
I know that's a
Faye's
pain.
rushing in. I understand that.
Yeah, I just got a shift at 5, so
Where, I've forgotten where you work at.
I'm just working at a pub.
Which one? then?
Hunter's Moon, Fulham Road.
Hunter's Moon. Where's that?
It is. I don't even know how to describe where it is. It's right opposite the hospital. Not Chelsea and Westminster.
Brompton.
That one.
Oh, right. Oh, it used to be called The Rose.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I really hate it when people change pub names.
I know.
Makes me absolutely furious. All right, let me just. Fabi, let's have a quick chat out here for a moment about. I'll tell you what I'd really like to do is to fill out an email every. Friday show called Paradise. The Saturday sessions we have Portobello, Saturday moves on to World Friday Muse. I mean, we know most of what's happening on Friday. I think three quarters of the CJs around the second slide. There are a few gaps. The shows when we visited the local pubs are in Wednesday night, Thursday night talking. As well as Tuesday we did dinner with a Portobello artist. It's like almost like a dream Tuesday with Portobello artists. As far as the pub goes, we were having this very nice. Oh, okay. Yeah. So in a way, what we should have one. I think there should be three things on the pub. There should be whatever the headline is, which might be a show in between where exhibition workers is. Can you just do that? And then it's the email, because we've got a mailing list on MailChimp. Is that, I'm going to put that together.
go and smoke a cigarette?
Go for it.
Yeah, hold on one second. I'm just going to place that poster.
Right, I forgot it's
What's the time? Where's the Kia? It's not here.
2 minutes to.
Oh dear.
Jermaine, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just see if the Kia has sent me a message saying
What a
she's
good
round the
spot.
corner, which would make me feel better.
Who is sorry?
My co-presenter.
Oh.
Gervais, this is Fabi, Maisie.
Hello. Amazing. Sorry, what was your name?
Fabby.
Fabby.
Amazing.
Maisie.
Yeah,
Hi.
nice to meet you.
How long is the song for?
Sorry.
I just a couple of hours.
We're on for a couple of hours. You're only on for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So,
At about 10 past, so I've just got to
Yeah,
tell
in a
my
minute.
son how long it'll be. Okay, fine.
cool.
Am I going to be able to point to a link of this?
Yes,
wonderful show?
www.portobelloradio.com,
Yeah,
and it will be repeated tomorrow at midday,
yeah,
10 a.m. on Sunday morning,
yeah.
and will be Mixcloud and be podcast on Monday morning.
And then that will be a link I can
Yeah.
put on
you could-
Insta and
yeah.
leave it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which reminds me, the thing about Insta is there's no click through.
Tap.
Yeah, which is why
On
in a way,
stories or on real? What do you mean?
certainly on a post, if you post something on Instagram, you can't click through directly.
You can attach links. You mean hyperlinks?
All right, show me.
You might have to rebrand though as a business on, like you use a business account rather than a personal account. I don't know if you're doing that now. I'm not
I
sure
don't
I
think we
could
are.
personally. So I can't.
You always put the link in,
Hello, Gervais.
link in the bio.
Sorry, your name?
Grace.
Hi.
Oh, that's your business account as well.
How do you get a business account?
It's really easy.
You just change
You
it.
just change
Oh,
it.
do you?
Yeah.
All right.
We can work it out. All right. Nice, isn't it?
To be honest, right now, I think the only thing you can do.
I mean, it says that you've listed it as that. Yeah.
We are a business, aren't we?
Yeah. But you can link your, well, you, that should be a clickable link or what you want to attach it to a specific.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
No, we're doing all right. Okay. Okay, brilliant. Let me just very quickly find out from Zakia where she is. Edie, are you still in the? Are you? Is there any way that you could lean over to the computer and you just press the square, the white square? Yeah. So.
So, Grace, are you getting into it? No, you're not. No, I was just wondering. I was just wondering where you're going to have sort of tennis back and forth. But
Well, we're about to start the show, our Friday show. So. Yeah. Are there still people there?
Yeah, I think so.
It'd be great if you could just shut the door.
Yeah.
And I will run in and tidy up at 6 o'clock.
What do you do when we ask?
I'm an artist.
Yeah, it'll ask you whether you want to stop recording.
Stuff with
Oh, I
white.
love that.
But we're doing an evening down
White
at the
Square.
Sikh temple near Shops Close Roundabout.
Yeah,
Central
brilliant.
Good
All right,
morning.
I'll come and
This
deal
evening.
with it at 6. Thank you,
It's going to be
Edie.
live Indian music and local poets.
Brilliant. It's on tomorrow at 5.
And a bit of white stuff.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you. Lots of love. Bye, Edie. Right, okay. Let me just see.
Can we do a quick sound check?
She's just gone Grove. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, yeah.
All right. Well, let's start the show.
Should we do a quick sound check?
Yeah. Do you want to?
Let me check your levels.
Testing, testing.
Yeah.
How's that?
Keep going. Tell me what you have for breakfast, will you?
What I had for breakfast? I didn't have any breakfast. I haven't got time for breakfast.
That's good. The levels are perfect for yours. Wonderful.
All right. So,
Oh God, is that a camera?
yeah,
on?
that is streaming live to YouTube.
You said there was no video. Put some proper clothes on.
Touch of makeup.
Great. So,
I just want to be in a scrappy t-shirt.
what we do here is it's the play button, isn't it, to go to stream. So we
Are you in the frame then?
am I up on 5? Yeah.
Yep.
Are we all in frame?
I'm not sure. I haven't got. I can't see that. Do you want me to press that? Yeah.
And will you be asking any questions as well?
I don't really know what my role is.
Local radio for local people.
Yes, welcome everybody to the Portobello Radio Show. It's Friday afternoon. It's a really vibey day here on the market. Isis and Greg are still away. I don't know where, but hopefully they'll come back one day. Luckily, we've got a fantastic team behind us who are going to make up and make it even better. Ray Jones, our local, Ray Jones, Ruffler Jones, asked me to play his record, Hey Cowgirl, so here it is.
I was hanging out in the bar Michelangelo, chewing the fat with Bill, who I didn't know. He said if you're ever down in New Mexico, be sure to call at the Hotel Arapaho. They got women down there that you won't meet every day, except maybe on the pages of photoplay. The one I took a shine to look like Doris Day. If you track her down, here's what to say. Hey cowgirl, which way's the rodeo? I've got your name off a bill up in Buffalo, and I'm running late and I don't wanna miss the show. Hey there, cowgirl, which way's the rodeo? Well, a sign above that bar made things awful clear. Abandoned, open, all either end to here. I hadn't sat down yet or ordered up a beer when Doris Day was talking in my ear.
I understand that you're looking for a date. We always try our best here to accommodate, but I don't get off work till 20 after 8. If you want my secret love, you're gonna have to wait.
I'll be waiting. Hey cowgirl, which way's the rodeo? I've got your name off a bill up in Buffalo, and I'm running late and I don't wanna miss the show. Hey there, cowgirl, which way's the rodeo? We went up to her place in the barrio. We drank red wine and ate cold gazpacho. While she got fixed, I turned on the radio. Sugar Ray was fighting Carmen Basilio.
Listen up, Buster, you've made a lucky match. You caught me in the middle of a purple patch, so don't waste your time with that old boxing match. Mount up, partner, we got a dream to catch.
Hey cowgirl, which way's the rodeo? I
Yeah, that of course is Ray Jones, Ray Ruffler Jones, and Glory Bound. Ray Jones is the reigning Notting Hill Man of the Year. He was awarded it in 2011 due to a little bit of poll manipulation by the likes of me, and they were so shocked they didn't run the contest ever again. He also did Ruffler TV with me in 2007 when we featured the Portobello Film Festival, and is general man about town. Anyway, Zakia, welcome to the show.
Oh, is it on now?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's
there
on
it
now,
is.
yeah.
Hello, how you doing, everyone?
It's the end of the month. You must be here.
Yes, I must be here indeed. How
How's
you been?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad at all. Trying to enjoy this little bit of sun that we're recently having. Not
Yeah.
complaining, though, because I did not like the rain. But, yeah, I'm not too bad at all, man.
Kensington and Chelsea Art Week. The sun has come out for Kensington and Chelsea Art Week, and we have one of the artists who's part of the Public Art Trail. Gervais, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Piers.
You're going to have
Thanks
to
for having me
remind
on.
me again your surname because I keep forgetting it.
Clifton Bly. But
Gervais Clifton Bly. And Gervais, you have created a sculpture outside the Sikh temple down there just on by the underpass going into Shepherd's Bush Station. Tell us
Correct.
a little bit about it.
well, it's called The Every Person. As you know, it's based on the golden ratio, which I kind of, as a mathematician, think of as the sort of number of life.
Right.
That ratio is exhibited. It's not just in the Parthenon and lots of great works of architecture, but it was used by Da Vinci in his drawing of the Vitruvian Man.
Right.
And it's found throughout nature, the arrangement of petals, the way a tornado spirals, all sorts of places.
Right.
So for me it means life. And it's also irrational, so it keeps on going. You can't ever write it down precisely, and I kind of like that as an
Like
idea
pi.
of life. Like exactly. But it's, it's I can't remember what the Greek letter is. I'm sure it's got a Greek letter, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, it goes on and on. So I like that idea as a sort of like evolution. It keeps on going.
How did you come to be doing this down at the Sikh temple? Because, you know, it's the first time Kensington Chelsea Art Week has had anything down there.
Yes, I did something last year at Battersea Power Station, which went pretty well, and went on to Putney Wharf. And this time round, I thought I'd try and really lean into something which was, you know, sort of let's get together vibe. You know, the climate at large at the moment is not particularly, you know, nice in some areas. So I thought I'd really go for let's get together. And so hence the every person as some sort of neutral figure that we can all agree on. And I thought, well, why not take it round the 6 major world religions? So we've done a church, and a Gurdwara, a Sikh Gurdwara, is next up. So that was the thinking
Which
behind it.
church did you do it in? Around here or?
We did it at St Mary's down in Putney. And I should say that, you know, Wandsworth Council very kindly provided a good chunk of funding to get this made, so many thanks to you guys.
Brilliant. And you have an event tonight, don't you, down there?
Yes, yes. I mean, the famous Sikh hospitality is kicking in big time. There'll be free chai. I'm sure they won't be able to resist, you know, some pakora or some sort of nibbles for all of us. And the temple musicians are going to play their tablas and other traditional instruments. So they're pretty good, you know, they get a lot of practice.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. And then, fantastically, we're teaming up with Kamatan from Poetry Corner, also part of Kensington Chelsea Art Week. And Princess and some others will be.
Princess Emanuela, great friend of this show, actually was part of Sounds of Latimer last year, which was also part of Kensington Chelsea Art Week.
I'm looking forward to her performance. You know, I heard the rehearsals, and it didn't take long for everyone to zone in and start sounding excellent. So I'm looking forward to it.
You mentioned Sikh hospitality. Last year not last year, 7 years ago, after the fire, I remember the Sikhs being everywhere, offering food and succour and, you know, whatever anyone needed.
Indeed. Yeah, I think it's a core part of their religion. In fact, you know, anyone can turn up on a Sunday and have a delicious Indian lunch. So, I'm not sure if I should be putting that out there too broadly
No, the
because
food
there'll
is
be a
good.
rush. But it really is very good, and it's free.
Have you always been an artist? You said you were a mathematician.
I was a mathematician for a good long interlude, yes, definitely. I did a bit of stuff like reactive art back in my early 20s, and then a friend persuaded me that I should do something sort of quote-unquote useful for a bit. And so I was a mathematician for a long time. NASA, Bank of England, a bunch of other pretty amazing people bought my work. But then, got that away, sold that business to a bunch in America, a healthcare bunch, so hundreds of hospitals are also using this technology. Funnily enough, I was watching an animated cartoon with my kids. I think it was called Sing, and it had a koala in it that was running a theatre. And the opening scene, he jumps out of the back window of his office, getting away from his creditors. And he turns to camera and goes, "What can I say? Dreams and wonder don't come cheap." And I thought, you know what, I can do a bit of wonder. And some little coin dropped in my head, and I realised the value.
How would you describe the piece?
Well, it's pretty abstract, that's for sure. There are physical constraints. I mostly work with light, and this particular piece uses a system that I call the light of reason. It's a combination of laser light and handmade optics, which produce this amazing sort of dynamic and organic display of light. But if you're going to bring that to the fore, there's a fairly limited number of shapes that you can work with. I think, looking for something, nice simple shapes that work with that idea, but which nevertheless you can, attach some reasonable meaning to. And
how did you become part of Kensington Chelsea Art Week?
Well,
did they ask you?
Absolutely. I applied. There's an open call, and I chucked that in. Last year they said no, thank you, and this year they said yes, please. So, keep on trucking is what I'd say to anyone aspiring to try and get ahead.
That's fantastic. The other thing, of course, is that it's the middle of summer. Doesn't get dark till kind of late-ish. How are you dealing with that?
Well, we're turning the light on later. Is primarily the key there. But I probably shouldn't say this, but I was just down. I was down at the Temple yesterday, and there's a very bright and pesky street light that would ruin my show. We've got to get the lights on by at least 9:30, I think, tonight. So we're doing a little bit of guerrilla blacking out of the street light to make sure it cast a shadow and didn't interfere too much.
Gervais, that sounds absolutely brilliant. How do people follow you on social media, or?
It's G23 Lab on social media and .com, Facebook, Instagram, and X. Instagram's probably best. They get the videos.
Yeah. I've been getting a lesson about Instagram just now, actually.
Please do follow and follow the Pilgrim's progress. We'll see where we end up next. I'm in the process of reaching out.
Do you have a next project coming up?
Well, I've got to get round 4 other religions, actually, and time will tell how hard that is. Speaking to a couple of people, got sort of reasonable reactions, but it's quite a leap, I think, for people to let you in, really. So enough respect to the Gurdwara for doing that.
I've got a mate who's got a mosque in Shacklewell Lane, if that's any help to you.
I love Shacklewell Lane. It's fantastic. Brilliant. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's the Turkish mosque there.
Yeah, I know. They've got a wonderful light at the top as well. It looks great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, I'll put you onto egg.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gervais. Thank you for coming in. Sorry, Zakir, did you
No,
have a
I
question?
mean, I live up the road from there, and I'm like, I need to go down past the Sikh temple after a certain time just to see the. But when does it actually end? Is it?
It ends on the 7th of July.
7th of July. Okay, so next week Sunday.
So tonight will be a fun night.
Okay.
But it's there.
Okay, I'm gonna
later
definitely
as well.
check it out in the next week because I walk past there all the time. So
Please do.
now I've got
Please do.
something to actually kind of look at.
Give me a shout.
On your
I
way to
will do.
Shepherd's Bush Station.
I'll take a photo and tag you.
Thanks, Gervais.
Thank you.
just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Call me if you need a friend. Call me if you need a friend. If you ever need a friend, call me. 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 If you need a friend, call me. 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 Call me.
Yeah, that is Bill Withers, Lean on Me. And that was Gervais, who has done Every Person down there at the Gurdwara, down on the end of, well, by the Stuart Arms, down there by the big pavement. And the event tonight, if you're listening on a live on a Friday, it's at 9 p.m. tonight. And there will be food, there'll be tabla, there'll be spoken word, and there will be the lighting of the Every Person.
And don't forget the chai.
Don't forget the chai. I'm more interested in the pakora, but anyway. We're delighted to have on the decks. We've got Maisie.
Hi guys, here I am.
Yeah.
Hey,
Here
hey.
I am.
Yeah, Maisie. Now you also have just finished a university course,
I
a
did.
master's.
I did.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and you came to join us, and you've done amazing work. You were actually on one of the podcasts recently, weren't you, about
I
gut
was on
health?
gut health, which was sprung upon me rather last minute. Didn't have a lot to say about my gut health, actually. I hadn't given it a lot of thought before. But it was an interesting conversation, actually.
Yeah, that was part.
Fascinating.
That was part of Great Exchanges, a series we did with Imperial College London, and that was in the run-up to the Great Exhibition Road Festival. You and I were both surprised by Ed Chambers, the research scientist at Imperial, who basically told us we should be farting more and we should basically stuffing our face with pulses the whole time.
Yeah, it wasn't a conversation I was expecting to have at 10 o'clock in the morning. But no, it was really interesting. Very, very clever man.
Yeah.
Very clever man.
Have you been thinking about your gut health more recently?
Oh, so you keep doing this, springing these things upon me, and then I have to answer truthfully on air. Not really, to be honest with you. Oh, no, you know what? I've given it more thought, but I cannot say that I've acted upon it as of yet. But it will happen. It will happen.
Good.
Yeah.
And then we went and we performed. We hosted the main stage at the Great Exhibition Road Festival down there on Exhibition Road outside Imperial College. And we were delighted to present on the Sunday at midday Kids on the Green, who were literally blinding. I've just put up the podcast of the three acts who played. One was called Beckham, who actually halfway through his set did the soliloquy from Hamlet, To Be and Not to Be. Another one was Olympia May, who's been on this show and has also sung with us at the Trellick Festival last year, and we'll talk a little bit more about this year's Trellick Festival in a moment. And there was also Sonic Days, a really great band, supported all by an 11-year-old DJ, DJ Jakai, yeah. That was something else. Kids on the Greens up there in Latimer Road, so if you're a young person and at a loss with what to do, they're amazing, Kids on the Green. When we were part of the church service for the 7th anniversary of Grenfell, that was streamed live by Kids on the Green, and they've got fantastic photographers, they've got a TV station, they've got a radio station. Kids on the Green, check them out.
Yeah, no, they do amazing work with the young people in the area, so big them up every time.
Yeah. You, of course, have been doing work with young people in the areas. You're in your role as director at Maxilla City, CIC.
Yeah, we've done a couple of trips with some kids, like last year and the year before. Just a local primary school, worked with children on free school meals and offered them kind of activities for those weeks, just to kind of give their parents a break as well, but offer them different experiences, things that they've never tried. So we took them to like the Lyric Theatre to watch a panto. We took some kids ice skating. So things that they hadn't tried before, and then they were willing to give it a go, and they all had a really great time. The feedback from the parents was amazing, and the kids thoroughly enjoyed it. So that's all we wanted and could ask for.
Maxilla City, of course, is in the old, what used to be the old Nottingdale Technology College, which then became Kindred Studios. It's there on Maxilla Green. And our old friend, particularly your old friend, Tayshan Hayden Smith, has been designing a garden just outside, which apparently is going to open next week.
I mean, I can't confirm when it is, but it should be opening soon. I can't give a date because I'm not too sure myself. But yeah, it's if you walk past, you'll notice that they've been working on it. So yeah, but it should be opening very soon, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, and Tayshan actually has also got a piece in the Public Art Trail on KCAW, Kensington Chelsea Art Week. That's down in South Ken, but more about that in a minute. Let's have a bit of salt and pepper. Yeah, that is Salt and Pepper. You're listening to Portobello Radio. We're here at the Muse Gallery and we're surrounded by the residents exhibition. As you know, every year the Muse invites 3 recently graduated art students to come and work in the back here at the Muse. They have a show at the beginning and they have a show at the end, and we're in the middle of the show at the end. It looks fantastic. You've just, I'm afraid, if anyone's listening who's recently graduated, the applications for the next residency have just closed, but we can look forward in September to a new set of residents, which is we're looking forward to. Takia, what are you up to in the next few days?
So I've been working on a community event as a director of Maxilla City. So the event's called Destined for Greatness, and we did it last year. Yeah. So we did it at the Edward Woods Estate and Community Centre. And this year we're partnering with Bay 20, 1,000 Black Boys and Westway Trust, and we will be doing it at the Bay 20 Community Centre just off the Maxilla Gardens. So Sunday the 7th of July from 2 to 6 p.m. It's
that's
a free
Sunday week, right?
Yeah, that's next Sunday. So it's a free event. All you have to do is just register via Eventbrite, and you can find that on the Maxilla City Instagram or the website. And the day is just about bringing the community together and finding greatness within. You know, it's been a couple of tough years, and with the elections coming up as well, we're not sure how it's going to turn out. So we wanted to have a day where we could kind of uplift each other. So there'll be like CV coaching and some legal clinics, so you can get some support and advice. There'll be children activities so the kids can be occupied and engaged with. There'll be also an inspirational speaker, and then an open mic competition as well. So if you are a young creative or just a creative and you want to take part, you can just register and sign up for the open mic as well. And food and refreshments too.
And are you looking for spoken word or rappers?
Yeah, anyone, open mic. So it's free for all. So if you do want to, there's an option to sign up and just register for that. And there's some amazing prizes which will be released next week to the public, so you guys can know. But yeah, we're really looking forward to it, and it should be a really great day.
Yeah, no, sounds great. Destined for Greatness, it's a lovely title.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is.
Oh, well, let's hope Tayshan gets his garden open, because
then
there'll be loads of room to play.
Yeah, no, it will be. We'll also have some art going on as well. We'll have a local artist, J King, who'll be down there, so we can capture the kind of essence and the day and the vibe on a kind of art piece that can stay there forever.
J King is an absolutely brilliant artist.
Yeah.
Does this kind of, is he still doing the work that's kind of based around words?
Yeah, so we're going to get him to do something like that. But he actually has a piece under the flyover. If you go into the men's shed, from Bay 20, obviously it's a bit, you can't really go through the park because of the works that are going on, but you can walk around, and he has a piece that's up there. And you can also check out his Instagram, J King the Artist, and see what kind of work he does as well.
Yeah. No, I met him through Belanley Tajuddin, who is Black Blossoms, She is a really inspirational young curator who's been taking young black women and non-binary artists into places like the Tate, the V&A.
Oh, wow.
And
you
also
should link me up after. But I met King through Fair Arts. So really great creatives around here.
And now someone we've had on this show on a number of occasions, Rose Budd, great friend of Isis's. She has got a new song dropping today. It's called Never End, and it has got its premiere on YouTube tonight at 6 p.m. But we have a first listen. This is exclusive. Rose Budd, Never End. Hold on.
Who we are when we that we will find a way. Hey, 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 hey. It will never end for me, never, never, never. 'Cause they will never know. They don't know about you and me. Who we are when we fly those stars. It will never end for me. They don't know about you and me. They don't know. It will never, it will never, it will never end for me.
Yeah, that is Rosebud. Apologies if you're listening live. I messed up the beginning of that, but if you're listening on the rewind, hopefully Greg will have got us out of trouble. Now, it's Kensington Chelsea Art Week. We love it. I'm an advisory board member. I have to tell everyone that so that people know that's one of the reasons I'm promoting it. And at a new tradition at Kensington Chelsea Art Week is the open day at Akava Studios. And we have Lisa Dredge in the room. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
And you're going to tell us all about it.
Yes, so Akava Open Studios is on at the weekend. There's 17 artists. There's sculptors, painters, photographers, there's jewellers, ceramicists. I think that's kind of covers
That's
it all.
most of it.
Multimedia as well, yeah. And we're opening our doors to the public for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, from 12 till 6.
And that Akava, of course, is just by the Pig and Whistle, by Latimer Road
Yes,
Tube
it's kind
Station.
of behind the Pig and Whistle, really, behind the block of flats next to
Bramley
the Pig and
House.
Whistle. Exactly, Bramley House. And it's been a thriving studio for many years, and I think it was set up in the 70s. And it's for really for artists, local artists, with affordable rents, and yeah, that's what it is. So.
Akava, of course, what most of what Akava does is take buildings on meanwhile let.
Yeah. We used to take on buildings that were maybe not being used or needed refurbishment, and we'd move in and do the work on them to make them good for studios. But the studio that we are opening in Bletchenden Street for the weekend, it was a purpose-built studio.
And award-winning.
It was,
Well,
yeah.
architectural
at its
award-winning.
time. Yeah.
We have actually taken the art bus there at some
Yes.
point back in the day. Tell us a little bit about your art, Lisa,
Oh, my art.
which will be on show.
Well, my art is abstract. I paint on paper with ink or watercolours, and it's quite meditative. I paint lines that run alongside each other, and it's very much about where I'm from. So I'm from the estuary, and I'm really obsessed with water and the rivulets of water and the whole thing of water, which is being in water, and well, it kind of surrounds us. We live in an island, so yeah.
God, we're something like
a little bit
90%
about my
water,
work.
aren't we?
Exactly, yeah.
No,
And it's where I love swimming, and I love swimming in rivers, and I love swimming in the sea, and I'm very, very angry with the state of the rivers and the sea at the moment. So, yeah.
What, for those who've not been to an open studios before, how's that work? I mean, is it literally lots of artists throwing their doors open and you can see them at work and the product of their work?
Yes, I mean, you may see them at work, or they may be taking the day off of their work and just literally showing their work. So I think some people might be actually working, but it really will be just to show you what they do. So, and it's an amazing place, Akava and Bletchenden Street Studios, because it has such a variety of artists, from Turner Prize nominees to BA Portrait Award winners, to artists that are just finding their way, or established artists that have had many exhibitions. It's a real mixed bunch. And they do, there's studios which are for people that maybe want to do a project or, work things out in their art life. So, and I think it's a very vibrant community there, and it would be great for the local community to visit and see what's on offer.
And can you buy the work at an open studios?
You
or
definitely
is it
can. I think some people will be selling their work. Some people won't be selling their work, but there'll be a mixture of things going on. So, yeah, there'll be some people definitely want to sell their work, and there'll be others which, may sell their work through a gallery and not interested in doing that in the open studios. But it'll be a great thing to see. I think you'll see a big variety of different artists.
Is there an advantage to you as an artist being in a kind of artist colony in terms of support or even just borrowing a paintbrush?
Definitely. I mean, sadly, our rents are going up, so we're going to have a bit of a problem with our community, because it will mean that a lot of the people in that community won't be able to afford the studios anymore. And it's such a valuable place, really, for ideas to grow, to share ideas with people, to be influenced by other people. It's always good to be surrounded by other creative people, I think. So we're hoping that, we can stay there for some time, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose, cost of living crisis, rents are going up everywhere. It's, Akava obviously started as somewhere that was very cheap when it was taking over buildings here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, but it's part of their ethos to have affordable artist studios within the community, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And I remember I think I interviewed you when the bus came.
You did, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember your work, it seems to be reflect different moods that you'd had. So some of it was really bright and kind of pink and light blue, and there was other stuff that was really quite dark.
Yes, I think the way I work is it does reflect how I'm feeling, because I'll go into the studio and it depends what I've seen that day, or what experiences I've been having that week, that month, or all sorts of things like that. So and I go into the studio, I close the door, it's quite quiet, and I would just start to work. And I don't know what the work's going to end up like, it just happens. So, I'll just meditatively paint away. So that's, yeah.
And I'm very delighted to say, because Akava is actually literally at the end of my garden, I'll be DJing there tomorrow night for a couple of hours at 5:30.
Yeah, which we're looking forward to very much.
Yeah. Hold on, we're just going to play a quick tune and we'll come back for more chat. Yeah, that is Del Rey by Sola Rosa. Now, we have someone in the room, actually, who... Maisie's had to go off to her job working in a pub on the Fulham Road, and we've got Faye on board. Welcome, Faye.
Hi, everyone.
Now, you can actually review the Akava Open Day, because you were there last year.
Yes.
Doing some recordings for us for the Sounds of Latimer.
Yes.
What's it like as a punter?
It was really an interesting day. I mean, obviously we were doing Sounds of Latimer, so we were
You were in and out.
on an adventure kind of day, like, you know. So I just kitted out with like a sound recorder and stuff. And yeah, I went over to Akava Studios, and it was kind of like going to someone's house, because you just walk in and it's like, it looks like you're going to some flats or something. And then like there's this whole floor of just where would be flats as art studios. Yeah, which is really cool. And each one was a different artist or two artists, and I got to like just walk around in there, look at the art, speak to the artists, like ask them questions about where they're from, why they do what they do, and it was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. There was like a huge variety of vibes in the work, and it was a nice atmosphere. It was creative, and it was a place to just have finished work on show, some in process. It's nice.
There you go. So, sounds like it's a perfect day out for Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, come along. I think there'll be something for everyone there. All are welcome.
Yeah. So, Kay, are you going to go down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I was saying I'm not around tomorrow in the area, but on Sunday I will be. To be nice to check it out, because I've not been to the studio yet, so it'll be my first time, and it'll be nice to see what kind of artists are there and the work that they produce and the kind of environment that you've created as well. So I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, one of the things I like, Angela de la Cruz, who was nominated for the Turner Prize back in 2010, lady in a wheelchair, in fact. She had a huge piece of art leaning against my back wall for about 2 years. I noticed she's just removed it from the packaging, because we were just about to haul it over the wall and take it down to Sotheby's and see if we could bang it out. Anyway, well done, Angela. You saved your piece of work. Have you been at Akava for a while, Lisa?
Many years, yeah. I've been in. I was in other buildings before. One off the Fulham Palace Road, and then down bottom of Ladbroke Grove, which is now the Roots Estate.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be an aircraft hangar there, which were artist studios. So
that was Akava as well.
It was, yeah.
Wow. Did they
Akava in a different guise? It was different vibe then.
Are they still looking for meanwhile buildings, or is that phase
I'm not
of
really
what they
sure
do?
because the people that run Akava now, it's a very different. So we don't sort of have so much communication in that respect. Whereas the old Duncan's years, it was very much a more of a collaborative experience where I might find a building and say to him, hey, there's this place, and then he'd go and have a look at it and see if it was viable. But I don't think it's so much like that now. And also, property is very hard to find.
Particularly in London.
Particularly in London, available property that people don't want a fortune for. So.
Yeah, I remember talking to Duncan. Duncan was very helpful when the council came and tried to knock down the Silchester estate. I got Duncan on the case, and Duncan was quite a prowler of the corridors of power.
Yes.
He knew which way to turn when he needed something done.
Yes.
But I remember that at that point they were looking at going into the potteries, into the area around Stoke, and trying to reinvigorate the. It's called the potteries because people used to make pottery there. We were, of course, called the potteries round here in Nottingdale back in the day. Do you know, did that ever happen? Do you know?
Yes, we've got lots of studios up in Stoke-on-Trent, or Akava do. Yeah.
Doing ceramics.
I'm sure there are ceramicists there, but I haven't actually visited the studios up there, but it would be quite good to go and see them, really, yeah. I imagine there are a lot of ceramicists, but not exclusively, yeah.
So Before you go, Lisa, just in case there are people who can't make the weekend, how do they get in touch with Akava on social media? Is there a website where you can see art from all the various artists, or
Yeah,
are you
there
all
i-
left
there
to
is.
fend for yourselves with social media?
Well, most of the artists do have their own social media and websites, but Akava does have a website, and it's Akava, acava.org, and that's it.
And it's got, can we find work on there, or is
Yes.
that more how to get a studio?
There's a bit of everything on there. So there's the work that Akava do in the local community. I think you mentioned Man's Shed. That's one of Akava's.
Yeah, I went there on the Grand Fall anniversary, and they were really nice. Opened up doors, and I had a bit of food and spoke to some of the people. It was really nice, actually.
They've also got the garden at the studios there under the Westway as well.
What used to be the
nursery school.
Nursery. My
Yeah.
kids went there.
Yeah, and so there's a community garden there as well, which is really nice. Yeah, but on the website, artists are mentioned if they opt into that. But most of the artists, if you look on the Open Studio social media, there's a list of all the artists, and you should be able to find their websites or their social media that way.
Brilliant. Well, I can't wait to be there tomorrow myself.
Good, I'm looking forward to it. It's really
Yeah.
fun.
And we urge you all to get down there.
Yes, please
see
come.
artists at work.
Yeah.
Or at least artists having worked. Thank you, Lisa.
Walking down the road with the pistol in your waist, Johnny, you're too bad. Walking down the road with the ratchet in your waist, Johnny, you're too bad. You're just robbing and stabbing and looting and shooting, boy, you're too bad. You're just robbing and stabbing and looting and shooting, boy, you're too bad. One of these days, when you hear a voice say come, where you gonna run? One of these days, when you hear a voice say come, where you gonna run? You gotta run to the rock for rescue, there will be no rock. You gonna run to the rock for rescue, there will be no rock. No way. Walking down the road with the pistol in your waist, Johnny, you're too bad. Walking down the road with the ratchet in your waist, Johnny, you're too bad. You're just robbing and stabbing and looting and shooting, boy, you're too bad. You're just robbing and stabbing and looting and shooting, boy, you're too bad. One of these days, when you hear a voice say come, where you gonna run? One of these days, when you hear a voice say come, where you gonna run? You gonna run to the rock for rescue, there will be no rock. You gonna run to the rock for rescue, there will be no rock. You gonna run to the rock for rescue, there will be no rock.
Yeah, that is Johnny Too Bad by Jimmy Cliff, and that was Lisa Dredge, who came in to tell us all about the Akava Open Studios which are happening over the next couple of days. That's Saturday 29th and Sunday the 30th of June between 12 and 6, and that's in Bletchenden Street, which is the street by the Pig and Whistle that goes kind of nowhere, except to Akava. Grace, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, thank
Lovely
you.
to
How are
see you. What have you been up to this week?
Nothing much. I've just been at the gallery, and there was a party, like a barbecue party, just in Colburn Road.
Oh, any good?
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. A lot of
Vibes?
soca.
Yeah, we love a bit of soca when the sun come out. Come on.
Talking of soca, don't forget to tune in over the weekend, Saturday sessions, Sunday rewind. Deborah Pandiva has done a fantastic show with all the brand new tracks from Trinidad. And I think I don't know if I'm breaking a confidence here, but it turns out that both Mangrove and Ebony are both going to do DNA. DNA being the song that won the Road March last year. Also on this weekend, Sunday, to celebrate the end of the Art Week, Kensington Chelsea Art Week, we are taking the art bus around. Hey, Alex, how you doing? We're taking the art bus around. It picks up here at midday. So if you're listening on Sunday, you better get on and get down here. Picks up at the Muse at midday. We're going to try and get off on time. And we have 7 performers. Is that right, Faye?
That is correct.
We have 7 performers. We have 3 or possibly 4 stops. We are going to drive by the Zach Ove mural, which is on the facade of that hotel, the hotel down at the Ruby Hotel down on Notting Hill. We're going to go to the Design Museum where there is a new piece. We're also going to go to the Napoleon Garden in Holland Park. Then we're going on down to Sloane Square, where there are a whole series of pieces in Duke of York Square, Royal Avenue, Sloane Square. And then we are going to finish up with a tour of the Serpentine South, which is, it's quite establishment for us, but as you know, we are now part of the establishment. Are you going to come on the art bus?
Is it next week, Saturday?
It's Sunday. This Sunday.
This Sunday?
Yeah. Oh, no, you're going to be at Akava.
You're trying to triple whip me, man.
Yeah.
There's only so many places. But no, I'll come next time because last time I went, it was actually quite fun.
Yeah.
It was a vibe still. It's a vibe.
Tell us a little bit, Faye, about some of the artists we've got coming up.
So we have some amazing artists performing. That me and Peaky Saki.
Yay! Shout out to Peaky. We love a bit of Peaky.
I'm sure you know of Peaky's music very well.
Yeah.
We put our heads together and a dance collective, a local dance collective called Dream will be performing.
Are they going to actually dance?
Yes, they will be dancing.
Wow.
We'll also have Feven, who's a lovely friend of mine, Feven7 on Instagram. She's going to hula hoop and do some spoken word for us, which is going to be lit. We'll also have a good friend of mine called Safria. She'll be doing some of her music for us, which is always a treat.
Safria's been on the art bus a couple of times. She's also she played at Tavistock Festival right outside here earlier this month.
Yep, and Clay as well.
Mobius
Trip Mob. He'll be performing, which is always great.
Oh, it sounds like a nice mix of artists this weekend.
That's how we like it.
That's how we like it. Come on.
And there's some really outstanding public art to have a look at. Once we get down to Sloane Square, you've got Love Continuum by Yoni Alta. Yoni has been on the public art trail a couple of times now. Then we also have further away, we've got Marc et Gilles, which is, I don't quite know what that is. Then there's Tutti Frutti by Charlotte Colbert. Lots to see.
From Holly from last week's show will also be performing.
Holly Penfield.
Yeah.
And if you missed her on the last week's show was a real cracker. We had not only did Holly come on, but we had Ricky Ray. Ricky Ray, the world's youngest calypsonian, a 9-year-old, sang us her calypso about Grenada. A real rocker. I've just put that up on Mixcloud, and that is available. Just go to our Mixcloud. Now, we've got a couple of guests coming in. We are looking forward to Portobello Nights coming in. Portobello Nights, that's Osman and Kai, and they're going to tell us about the vegan market. You're a big fan of that, aren't you?
Yeah, I go down to the vegan market every 2 weeks, or when they were first in it, every once a month. But yeah, it's a nice little something to do in the area. It's about food and, you know, vegan things, clothes and other stuff that people make. It's really nice. And
well, they've moved into, like, vegan clothing as well.
yeah, there's clothing, there's like some jewelry stuff. I mean, the guys will tell you, but it's just something. I mean, if you just want to meet someone and have a weekly catch up, and you don't want to like drinking is the main focus, then it's something different to do. But if you do also want to drink, there's options to drink there too. They got this nice local pre-made rum cocktail thing. It's at 13%. It is nice. Yeah. It is nice. A couple of those are your pre's. Oh my gosh, yeah. I think called Kane 13, I think. So yeah, check them out. But yeah, Vegan Nights or Portobello Nights is really nice vibe, and it's, you know, people from the area that are doing something. So it's always good to support.
Yeah, always good to support. I also noticed, because it's just outside our micro unit, on Thursdays now, outside the Portobello Shack, there is a little stall selling a lot of, frankly, slightly weird to me, Caribbean stuff, kind of teas and beauty projects.
Is he quite short? But he's
it's the guy with the mad eyes.
Yeah. I see him all the time. He does something there like every 2 weeks where he sells like his herbs and stuff like that, and oils, and I think like some homemade things and maybe other teas. But
yeah, we'll have to send Grace up to interview him, and then we'll be able to find out all about it.
Yeah.
The other big thing we've got, of course, at 5:30, for those of you who don't live in a cave, even for those of you who do live in a cave, we have an election coming up next Thursday. We've had a number of people involved in the election on Portobello Radio. We've had a couple of independents in. We had Emma Dent Code, who is standing as an independent in this very constituency. We talked to Andrew Feinstein, who is standing against Keir Starmer in Holborn and St Pancras. And we had Andy Slaughter, I call him the MP, you're supposed to call him a candidate while this election is on, the MP for Hammersmith and Fulham for quite a while. And we have Joe Powell, who is standing for Labour right here in Kensington and Bayswater, and he should be with us in about 20 minutes. So that's something we are looking forward to. In the meantime, we'll have The Clash.
And your bankers too. Let's get up and learn those rules. Weatherman and the crazy chief. One says sun and one says sea. AM, the FM, the PM too. Turning out that boogaloo. Get you up and I guess you out. But how long can you keep it up? Give me Honda, keep me Sonic. So cheap and real phony. Hong Kong dollar, Indian cents, English pounds and Eskimo pence. Sophistication, seen the ads, cause it's nice. Better work hard, I seen the price. Never mind that, it's time for the bus. We got to work, and you're one of us. Clocks go slow in a place of work. Minutes drag and the hours jug. Yeah, wait, bye-bye. bye to the boss. It's our profit, it's his loss. But anyway, the lunch bell ring. Take one out, do your fine. Cheese boyga. What do we have for entertainment? Cops kicking gypsies on the pavement. Now the news has left to attention. Lunar landing of the dentist convention. Italian mobster shoots a lobster. Seafood restaurant gets out of hand. Car in the fridge, a fridge in the car. Like cowboys doing TV land. You know what? Don't stop. Keep it on. You know what? Don't stop. You know what? Don't stop. Keep it on. Let's go. Yeah. So get back to work and sweat some more. The sun will sink and we'll get out the door. It's no good for man to work in cages. Hit the town, he drinks his wages. You're fretting, you're sweating. But did you notice you ain't getting? You're fretting, you're sweating. But did you notice not getting anywhere? Don't you ever stop long enough to start? Take your car out of that gear. Don't you ever stop long enough to start? Get your car out of that gear. Call them up, a fire and Engels came to the checkout at the 7-Eleven. Marx was good, but he had sense. Engels, Lenin, the necessary events. What do we got? Yeah. What do we got? Yeah. What do we got? Magnificent. What do we got? Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi went to the park to check on the game, but they was murdered by the other team. Went on to win 15-0. You can be true, you can be false. You'll be given the same reward. Socrates and Milhouse Dixon both went the same way through the kitchen. Plato the Greek or Rin Tin Tin. Who's more famous to the billion millions? Who's Flash? Vacuum cleaner sucks up budgie. Bye bye. Long, isn't it?
Yeah, that of course was the Clash with the Magnificent Seven, local heroes. And also on this weekend, part of Kensington Chelsea Art Week, Paprika is doing an open studio, and that is down in Stable Way. That's even more difficult to find than Akava, so you have to go down towards the Traveller camp, the Traveller site, and it's on the right hand side in part of Luke's mechanics yard, and she has an open ceramic and art studio going on between 2 and 10 tomorrow, June the 29th, and at 7 p.m. they are showing the film about Frestonia. We go on about Frestonia a lot in this show. Frestonia was the independent republic that was down in Nottingdale, that was declared in 1977 when they tried to they declared independence in order not to get knocked down, something we also tried in Silchester, another part of Nottingdale. We're delighted to welcome our next guest. Hello guys, Faye, can we offer? We got two of you both
Yeah,
got a
they're
mic.
both
Hello?
fine.
Hello?
Yeah, we're on.
Am I sounding?
Yeah, you're sounding brilliant, man. It's Osman and Kai from Portobello Nights. How you doing?
Yes,
Glad
very
to be
well.
here. Glad to be here.
Tell us, we mentioned it just now, but one of the main things you do is the vegan market. Tell us about that.
So on the first and third Wednesday of every month from, when did we start? It was what? May until September? No, it was April. Sorry, it was April through to September. We do a vegan night market. Just under the little tent on the Portobello Green there.
Under the canopy.
Oh, canopy tent.
Yeah.
Canopy means massive tent. Right? Yeah.
Canopy, I think, doesn't have sides, but anyway, who
Okay.
knows what the
Alright.
technical thing is.
Okay.
How long have you been doing that? Because that's JP used to do that.
Yeah. So as of April, me, Dre, Oz, and Zoe. Me, Dre, Oz, and Zoe. We came in together with JP.
Mhm.
So we formed a new events company called Your Local Groups Limited, and we started Portobello Nights. And Portobello Nights is what we do the vegan market underneath. So we'll be doing that and other events to come as well.
Yeah, so it's an evolution from the vegan night market. So obviously JP started it over 6 years ago.
Was
and
it that long ago?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So just so people know, next week Wednesday is our 6-year anniversary.
Is it?
Wow,
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah.
Raw.
Wow, that's,
That's going to
brilliant.
go off, right?
Yeah, definitely. It is going to be a vibe. Good vibes, good energy, good food, nice community vibe, and this is what we're doing. So yeah.
So are you two both vegans?
Yes, I am vegan. Oz
Yeah.
is now having to be a vegan because I forced him to be.
Yeah, we're going through an experiment where he's teaching me a lot about veganism. For me, it's the community aspect about it as well. So I am very health conscious. I am slowly, it's been a very, very hard journey because obviously that transition from everyday eating meat and having to minimize the amount which I'm actually eating, but I'm actually learning a lot about veganism. And again, for myself, I feel culturally, a lot of cultures have too much meat. Like, so Kai is teaching me a lot, like his cooking skills, the effing chef, amazing. You know, he's got, he's like, don't say that.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but you know, we're going through it. One thing that's helped us as well with this and getting us to transition so fast. If you see our reviews on Instagram, so we go to places like we go to our local vendors, or we go to other places in London that do vegan food, and I just take Oz for a little journey on his
Make us a vegan.
Well,
Hashtag-
basically make us a vegan. You see it, he just reviews the food, you know, has a little joke, a little laugh. But we're doing very well with that on Instagram. We're getting a lot of engagement from it. You know, Oz seems to be enjoying himself.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would have never thought I would actually be able to go to a place and just solely eat vegan food. And I've gone to so many different establishments, and I was quite surprised that chicken is just one of the places we went to. And to be honest, I did not believe. I thought there was, what was it, some sort of wizardry? You know, like it feels like they're doing magic because you'll eat the food and like, no, this has to be meat. So I'm learning a lot, and it's a journey. It's a journey, but yeah.
Because recently there's been a little bit of kickback against veganism because some of the big brands who jumped in and tried to make a vegan version of whatever it is found that they couldn't just flog any old rubbish as vegan food.
You're right. I saw this with Hellmann's with their mayonnaise. They went from calling it vegan mayonnaise to plant-based mayonnaise because of the pushback they were getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that vegan food isn't just about not eating meat. It's also about cooking food from scratch, cooking real food, isn't it?
This is the thing about the vegan community. Like most communities, there are layers and levels to it. Some people, for example, would say that I'm not a vegan because I might wear leather trainers.
Right.
Yeah. Now, technically that would be true then, in that circumstance. But I have not eaten meat or any dairy products for 8 years now?
Yeah?
Yeah. So.
You look fit enough.
Whoa, I try. This is the thing as well. It's been a difficult journey because when I first started, for example, there wasn't many things around that could promote veganism. I didn't know about any night markets. It was hard to go shopping in places like Tesco's, things like that. I found myself spending a lot of time in Portobello Whole Foods, Whole Foods Market, Fulham, High Street Kensington, places like that. But there wasn't like lots of vegan restaurants or vegan options at places, things like that. So I had to really learn how to cook my own food, and that's what made me become a vegan cook in the end.
I think as well, you know, like for example, cheeses, the vegan cheeses. I remember my son obviously is lactose intolerant, so I remember going shopping probably like 5-6 years ago, buying vegan cheese, and it was, I'll be honest,
Terrible.
it's terrible.
Terrible.
But
Foul.
now going to the shops now, and the vegan options are so much better as well. So I think
Yeah.
it's easier for people to transition, whereas before it was much harder finding vegan options. So
Definitely a lot easier now, and there's a lot more of like a community around it. Like if you go on Instagram and type vegan, there's lots of people doing their own meals, their own dishes. There's different night markets. You know what I mean? It's come a long way from when I started, like 2015, 2016.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I was raised as a vegetarian, and you can imagine what it was like 20 years ago. It was bad. It was
Yeah.
basic. Do you know what I mean? So it is nice that more people, and there's obviously different reasons why people do become vegan as well. Like if you've got like dietary requirements, and like you said, if you can't have cheese and lactose and dairy and stuff, you're not gonna be able to eat. Like even chocolate bar, people don't think like it's got milk in it and things like that. So I think there's more of a push to have a kind of a different diet, and it's also not bad as long as you're kind of eating healthy as well. I think people think, oh, I'm vegan, I'm healthy, but if you're just eating burgers and chips,
Well, this is it. Like I was saying, there's different levels of veganism. You've got people that are vegan for their health, like me. You've got people that are vegan for the animals. You've got people that actually have a lot of intolerances, lactose, gluten, soy, all these different things. So they have like a very strict dietary plan they got to follow, things like that. But within the vegan community, there's lots of different things now. For example, you've got people that identify as more plant-based. So instead of saying, I'm a vegan, I eat anything, they make sure they eat more plants. So they wouldn't eat things like the mock meats, the meat alternatives, things like that. That
none
makes
of the
sense.
processed stuff as well, innit?
Yeah. And then as well, like you've got the alkaline community where they only eat like a certain like reserve list.
yeah, and that
based
one's
on-
hard. I
yeah.
did that for a bit. It was hard. Like my
Yeah.
sister made me do that for a bit. I respected it and I liked it, but it was hard because you really have to then think about what you're cooking with. And
Yeah.
but I think it's good as well, and I think it shows like patience and understanding and like learning as well, because you can't just jump and I get this. No, you have to really think about it and what you're putting in your body, and you really understand like how things are a cycle and how things really impact stuff as well.
That the alkaline diet, is that the one where you're not allowed to eat pineapples and stuff like that?
So basically, I don't know if Dr. Sebi coined it, but I feel like it blew up from him. So there's like a reserved list of things that you can eat based upon what they produce when they actually hit the stomach. Because the misconception is that you can't eat anything acidic, but like things like dates, most fruits have acid in them, but it's about what happens when they get into the body and they hit the digestive system. So that's when they would become alkaline or things like that. So that's where we're going. And they would say they are hybrid fruits. So things like pineapple would fall under that category. Yeah.
Because I found earlier on when we had Maisie on the decks before Faye showed up, Maisie had been involved in a programme we did with Imperial College London about gut health.
Oh,
and the key to gut health is eating a lot of fibre.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't really get any fibre out of meat or dairy, do you? You need to be getting your fibre from plant-based foods.
That is true,
Yeah, prebiotics, probiotics, things like that. Yeah.
So tell us about who are the vendors now at the Portobello Nights vegan market. Are there some people who've been there 6 years?
Yeah. So we have a lot of resident traders, some of which have been there for quite some time. So I'd say Osu Coconuts is one. They make amazing food. Where are they again? They are based in...
They trade all over London, but they do Broadway Market, they do Brick Lane, they're with us. They deliver like during the weekdays, so they do like imported food. Osu's slogan is basically having bioavailable foods. So again, it's about making sure that people get the best out of the food when they eat it. Due to how it's produced, how it's processed.
Yeah.
Minimal human interference is what they go with.
We've got artisan traders like Ad Luna as well, who have been there for quite some time as well. We have a mix of traders, so what we want to do as well is offer a variety as well, so it's not always the same traders all the time, but there are some that have been there from like the get-go, and yeah, it's good to see the development as well, where I've been going there for quite some time and seeing certain faces and now being a part of it it's an amazing thing.
Do you still have DJs?
Yes, we've got many DJs, sometimes too many DJs.
There's always too many DJs,
Yeah,
mate.
no, it's a good thing. You know, there's a lot of enthusiasm in the community for people wanting to come and actually, you know, come and be a part of the community and broadcast with the music and that. So we've got Cappuccino, we've got Shots, we get dreads from Kids on the Green. We had Jada Pink come last event.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a performance as well. Yeah, there's a lot of.
We're trying to give the opportunities to local DJs as well, so they could actually showcase what they're doing, because I feel we're getting people from all different areas coming as well with the promotions which we're doing. So it's not just West London based, we're getting people from all over London coming as well. So I think that's the amazing thing, because we give these DJs opportunities to showcase their work, people hear what they're doing. It's the same with the food as well. So with us, there's also a community aspect of it as well, where we offer opportunities to local vendors. So we do with Your Local Community Hub is another project which we run as well. We've got a young entrepreneurs program. So I think it's like 3 weeks ago, we had an amazing girl there. She's 11 years old, makes her own vegan deodorant. So we basically give her the stall, help her with her marketing, promotions, and offer them an opportunity to sell their products.
That's absolutely brilliant. I think even our very own Isis, the Eclectic Goddess, has DJ'd one time down at the Portobello Nights.
You need to come back and do some more DJing.
Well, no, my mum, but she's not here right now. But to be honest, my sister's been recently getting into the DJ thing, so she's a bit confident I might hit you guys up or whatnot, because she loves her music too.
That's brilliant, guys. Tell us, how do we follow you on social media? Well, first off, the 6th anniversary is next Wednesday.
3rd of July.
3rd of July. Yeah. Right out there.
Yeah.
How do people follow you so they can... Sometimes people get a bit confused by every other week.
Okay, so it's Portobello Nights on Instagram and it's Portobello Nights on TikTok.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and if there's any vendors that want to actually trade with us as well, they can email hello Portobello Nights, send us an email, and see if we can accommodate you.
Yeah, portobellonights.com as well.
Oh, yep, sorry. Oh.
Cool.
Thank you, fellas, and thank you for the work you do in the community.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Here's something from Brazil.
Acredito que só tocar o... Você é criança, não tem? Olha lá, toda animadinha, olha lá. Brincando mesmo, tá louco. Vai malandra, eita louca, tô brincando com bumbum. Vai malandra, eita louca, tô brincando com bumbum.
Tá pedindo, se prepara, vou dançar, presta atenção. Se aguenta, se eu te olhar, descer, quicar até o chão.
Fala brincando, ó. Desce, rebola gostoso, empina me olhando, eu te pego de jeito. Se eu começar embrasando contigo é taca, 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 taca.
Isso, rebola gostoso, empino te olhando, te pego de jeito. Se começar embrasando contigo é... Não vou mais parar, cê vai aguentar. Não vou mais parar, cê vai aguentar.
Right, Melandra, show me some. Brazilian baby, you know I want you. Booty big, sit a glass on it. See my zipper, put that ass on it. Hypnotized by the way you shake it. I can't lie, I'm trying to see you naked. Anita, baby, I'm trying to spank it. I can give it to you, can you take it?
Já tô louca, bebendo, tô solto, envolvendo, eu tô vendo. Não para, não. Vai, malandra, eita louca, tô brincando com bumbum.
Bem malandra, eu tô louca, tô brincando com bumbum.
Fala brincando, ó.
Vai, malandra, turn around and put it down on me, baby.
Vai, malandra,
eita louca,
tô brincando com bumbum.
Baby.
Desce, rebola gostoso, empina me olhando, eu te pego de jeito. Se eu começar embrasando contigo é taca, 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 taca.
Isso, rebola gostoso, empino te olhando, te pego de jeito. Se começar embrasando contigo é... Não vou mais parar, cê vai aguentar. Não vou
Make it clap, yeah, I'm into that. Pulling tracks, yeah, I'm into that. From the back, yeah, I'm into that. Big dog to the kitty cat. Young boss where the millies at. In favela, where's Liddy at? And the whole Brazil is
Já
feeling
tô
that.
louca, bebendo, tão solto, envolvendo, eu tô vendo. Não para, não. Vai malandra, eita louca, tô brincando com bumbum. Tum, tum, tum. Vai malandra, eita louca, tô brincando com bumbum.
That is Anita, and that goes out to my daughter, who's at Glastonbury and has recently come back from South America. We're delighted to welcome once more to the studio Joe Powell. Joe, welcome.
Thanks for having me back.
Now, Joe, you are the prospective candidate for Kensington and Bayswater for the Labour Party. Last time you were here, we talked a lot about your campaign against dirty money in Kensington. You're now up there in front of the whole electorate rather than just the peeps at Portobello Radio. We've got to ask you, how's it been? You've been on the campaign trail now for 4 or 5 weeks. What's it like?
Well, I love campaigning because you meet people where they are, right? And you never know who is going to answer the door or what issue they're going to have. But it's a really good way of understanding what people really care about, so people that kind of you meet on the street or whatever, you give you a cross section, but you don't necessarily fully understand, for example, people that are struggling with housing associations that haven't repaired their damp and mold for months, or people that are feeling like they can't get an operation and they're on a waiting list for a year, and they don't necessarily speak up or they don't know where to go to, but when you knock on their door, they're quite happy that someone's actually come round and bothered to ask them what they care about. So I find it very interesting, but also quite depressing in the sense that a lot of people don't feel like politics is going to make any difference for them, and there's that kind of apathy or feeling whether I should vote or not, and I can understand that because people have been through a cost of living crisis and COVID and Brexit. So I think our job in the last 4 or 5 days of this campaign is to just try and energize people a bit and give them a bit of motivation that things can be different and we can actually change the government. And when you change the government, policies that happen at a national level will make a difference in Kensington.
Well, funnily, if you interested, you should use the word change because that obviously is the headline of the Labour campaign. We've had a couple of people ask me to ask you, what's that going to mean? Change. You've really majored on that word change. What's it going to mean to people on the Silchester estate? What's it going to mean to the rich people down in South Kent? What's it going to mean to the people who are kind of doing okay, just about managing, as our old friend Theresa May used to say?
Yeah, I mean, if we do have a change of government, and as I said, it's been 14 years of the Conservatives. Let's just take 2 or 3 issues that really matter in this constituency. So, housing. We've said if you're a private renter, which is 40% of Kensington and Chelsea residents, people forget how high it is, we're going to ban Section 21 evictions. That means your landlord cannot evict you for a no-fault eviction. That is a change for private renters that's going to happen very quickly. If you're a leaseholder, we're going to reform leasehold to make it easier for people to move to common hold, to take services into their building if they want to manage that, with cap ground rents. Again, a big deal. We said we're going to have the biggest increase in social and affordable housing in a generation. That will mean that on some of these big sites that the council have been, have labelled as opportunity zones, that there will be a higher proportion of social and affordable housing when they're built. And we know that RBKC do not have a good track record of actually increasing supply of social and genuinely affordable housing. That will take time, but that will be a big difference. And if you're a mortgage holder, the stability that we'll have in the economy after all this chaos will get interest rates down, so your payments will go down. So whatever tenure type you're in housing, I think you will see a change. And similarly for the NHS, the NHS waiting list is 7.5 million now. That is a figure we have never had before in this country. That means people waiting for routine operations, particularly non-urgent care. If you're waiting for a hip replacement, you know, your choice might be to take out a loan and go private, or to wait a year plus on the NHS, and you're in agony and you can't work. You know, so we're bringing those waiting lists down will make a real difference to people in our community. And we've also said we'll build a new St Mary's Hospital, which will be a massive, you know, it's a crumbling Victorian building. It has the largest repair backlog of any NHS estate in the country. And the Tories broke their promise last year to have a new hospital there built by 2030, and we've said we'll bring that back. So I think, you know, it's not going to be easy, for sure, because we have a lot of need in public services, and we have 70-year high taxes. So it's not going to be resolved overnight, but I think there are some really practical things we can do, and what I hope that will mean is that people start to have a little bit more faith and trust that the political process can actually help them. Because if we don't deliver, and people have put our faith in us, then I really worry what will happen next. Because we're seeing with Nigel Farage and Reform and so on, the shift even further to the right that could happen in this country. So I feel a big responsibility. If we have a Labour government, we've got to deliver in very practical ways for people.
There are some people around here who would say that one of the issues for them with Labour is that you're trying too hard not to scare the horses, and that they would push you to actually be more left wing. Is that a fair criticism of what's going on at the Labour Party at the moment?
Well, I don't think it is a fair criticism, because I think when you look at the policies in the manifesto, there are lots of things that people would describe as, you know, whatever your favourite adjective is, radical or transformative or whatever. So, you know, we're going to renationalise the railways. You know, we're going to have a publicly owned green energy company. We're going to have the biggest house building programme since the war in social and council housing. You know, those things are not small things, right? They'll be hard to deliver. And I think sometimes, because maybe the language is a bit more moderate than it's been in the past, people don't see that actually the detail of the policy is still really strong. We're going to have the biggest workers' rights package that we've had, especially to catch up with all the people working in the gig economy on 0-hour contracts, these companies doing fire and rehire. That's all going to go. You know, for lots of people who are, you know, on these kind of working 2 jobs, maybe 1 gig job, 1 regular job, that's going to be a big difference. So I don't accept that it will not be a programme of government that will that could be really transformative. Now, the problem we have, you know, and where people maybe say, well, you said you were going to spend all these billions on climate and now you're not. But, you know, the reality is that after Liz Truss, you know, a Prime Minister that Felicity Buchan, our current MP, supported, interest rates are much higher. That means it's more expensive to borrow money. Now, I think if you have some stability and you can get those interest rates down and our debt repayments as a country come down, we will be able to ramp up spending on things like infrastructure for the long term that will pay for themselves. I really think that will happen, but we can't scare the horses, right? And I think that's why that message, that reassuring message that post Liz Truss, we're not going to come in with an economic plan that is going to result in that happening again. Because in the end, it was people that ended up paying for it. You know, ordinary people in their mortgages, their food bills. You know, so I, you know, but I would encourage people to look at the detail of the policies before they you know, perhaps take that position.
Now, I'm here surrounded by young people. Now, I know, Zakir, you've been on the Palestine marches.
Yeah, I've gone to a couple of Palestinian demos. Yeah.
So, would you have a question for Joe about?
I mean, I think for a lot of people, I mean, I suppose the stance of Labour and the no ceasefire, it was very troubling. And then I think the way that people like Diane Abbott have been treated, especially as a black woman, is quite troubling. And so for a lot of people in their kind of 20s, maybe early 30s, they don't really find confidence with the Labour Party. They don't really find confidence with Keir Starmer, and they're kind of struggling to see why they should vote for them and have that support in a party that won't even listen to the constituents when they're asking for them to have ceasefire, to call for a ceasefire. So yeah, that's something I've seen online and had conversations with people that I know as well, and I think that's one of the most troubling things. And it's been like 8 months of constant bombings and nothing's been stopped, and it's just like every time people feel like we're just going in a circle and nothing's really going to change. Then it's like, why would I then, as a voter, give my vote to a party that doesn't really represent my thoughts and things like that?
Look, I think it's a perfectly fair question, and I understand why people why people felt, especially in the kind of early period, that some of the statements and so on were things that they were quite upset about. I get that, but the Labour Party position for many months now has been for an immediate ceasefire, for a massive increase in humanitarian aid. In getting the hostages out and having a negotiation that long-term, I hope, would lead to a two-state solution. And again, in the Labour Party manifesto, there is a commitment to recognising a Palestinian state as part of a negotiation, not at the end of a negotiation, which could mean that it's kind of held back right until the end and then who knows what would happen, but as part of the process, and that's an important difference. I work in... my career has been in anti-corruption, right? So, I know full well what you're dealing with. Benjamin Netanyahu was indicted for corruption in 2019. One of the only reasons he came back as Prime Minister was to save his own skin. Now, he should be in jail for corruption, let alone anything that's happened since then. And similarly, I have absolutely no time for Hamas, who I think are horrific, and obviously were responsible for a massive atrocity on October 7th. So I think you have to change the leadership on both sides. But the government we have at the moment, has not said anything like that, right? And in the end, in this constituency, my fear is that if people feel like, they want to stay at home or they want to vote for a minor party or so on, that we end up with a Conservative MP being re-elected who doesn't care about housing, who hasn't done anything on the NHS, who barely visits North Kensington, and that will be the end result, right? So when it is so tight, I guess what I'm asking people to do is, even if you don't agree with 100% of what the Labour Party has said on Gaza, to consider that you'll be voting for me on the ballot paper, and I want you to be clear what my priorities are, where I will be focused and where I'll spend my time, and it will be completely different to what we have at the moment, and include and of course the Diane Abbott situation was very messy. There's no doubt about it, and I don't think anybody can come out of that feeling very good about it. But I am glad that she's a Labour candidate. She wants to be re-elected as a Labour MP, and she wants there to be a Labour government. And in the end, that is the end result, even if it was a mess to get there.
And I mean, there's no doubt there has been a slightly messy election. For my part, I will put my money where my mouth is. I've actually already voted for you. I've got a postal vote and I put it in the other day. To my mind, we need change. I know it's a lot of people are saying it's an empty slogan, but we've had 14 years of the Tory party, and from the moment our friends in the St Quentin estate, Cameron and Osborne, got on board with their drive for austerity, which has driven all the issues we've had in the last 14 years. Brexit is the direct response to it. The crisis in the NHS is the direct response to it. We just got to get these people out.
Yeah, and look, the reason I decided to stand is because, as I mentioned, my background is working on anti-corruption, open government and democracy, right? And I was working in lots of countries around the world where you would think, the perception is that they're very corrupt, but actually the issues that I was working on were the same issues that were happening here. David Cameron lobbying for a snake oil salesman in Greensill, right? The Nadim Zahawi's taxes, Baroness Moan and the PPE contracts, and now this petty, gambling scandal just before the election. And it feels to me like if you don't have basic ethics and integrity and transparency, how can you possibly take the right decisions to put the NHS back on its feet, right? Make really difficult decisions long term. Like we've got it's not going to be easy. We've got a social care system that is totally fragmented and insufficient for an aging population. We have carers in Kensington and Chelsea, by the way, who are paid £1.50 less per hour than if they were in Westminster, working for the same company, doing the same work. That's a political decision that our council is taking, not to pay our carers more. So, I guess I obviously think there needs to be change, because I think sometimes you have to change the leadership. And I do think that will, in the end, make a real difference locally. But, I also don't want to overpromise, right? We're in a really difficult situation. And I think the British electorate is fed up of people not, not being realistic. So, I hope in the end of 4 or 5 years of a Labour government, we can say that we over-delivered and that people will actually feel good about it, and that we'll have some real concrete change locally to point to.
Last time you were on the show, you talked to us about your campaign against dirty money, and that was very much a campaign to get rid of the dirty millions that are washing around London, and particularly washing around the southern part of our borough. What can the Labour Party do about the McMafia, about the empty houses, about the fact that, these corrupt people in other regimes are squirreling their money into property in RBKC?
Yeah, so the campaign that we set up, Kensington Against Dirty Money, after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, we've already actually had far greater impact than we expected, because what we were able to do is provide a grassroots perspective on the problem to actually influence government policy. Because what we're saying is, this is not just about autocrats and dictators hiding their money here. It's about empty homes in this borough. It's about shops, cafes, restaurants not having customers because there's nobody living around them. It's about the crisis of falling rolls in our schools, the inflation at the top end of the property market, which distorts developments. So there has been legislation that now means we have some transparency over those properties, but the government left so many loopholes in that. Just to give you one example, 40% of Kensington and Chelsea overseas registered property is in anonymous trusts in tax havens like the British Virgin Islands. And the government didn't ask people to disclose the real owner if it was a trust. So it's just an obvious massive loophole, and we've said that we will close that. Another piece of it is our professional services, right? So the estate agents, the banks, the accountants, the lawyers, and so on, is trying to instill higher standards in those services that have, at times, handled this dirty money. And I think most people that work in those services don't want to do that, but they should have higher due diligence requirements. And I would go as far as to say, for some of those industries, you need some criminal liability. Like if you're handling dirty money, which is not productive, it doesn't create growth in the economy, doesn't create jobs, then you need to be held to account for doing that. And so we'll keep it going. If I'm elected, this will be one of the issues I want to work on. And I've already spoken to lots of people in the Labour Party about how we can do it.
You mentioned growth just now. Keir Starmer cracks on about growth a lot. How is the Labour Party actually going to create growth when, the alleged party of business, the Tories, hasn't been able to? And what will growth mean to us, those of us who live, well, particularly in North Kensington, but in any part of this constituency?
Yeah, the reason why getting growth is so important is because we need more tax receipts to pay for public services, right? That is, and we want people's living standards to improve. This is the first parliament in history where living standards at the end of the parliament are lower than at the start. That is a shocking indictment for any government. So we do need to get more growth back in the economy. One of the main ways we'll do it is through green industries and climate-friendly growth, right? So we've said that we will have a windfall tax on oil and gas companies that will help to create a national wealth fund that will pay for things like big investment in renewable energy, onshore, offshore wind. We brought Ed Miliband to the Westway because on top of the Westway there are solar panels, which is North Kent Community Energy. And so part of the funding will be put behind projects like that around the country that also have a community benefit. So the sports centre gets cheaper energy, obviously they use a lot. And then there's also grants for local organisations. But if you make it local, then there's more incentive for local people to get, to get around the planning issues and whatever that sometimes slow these things down. That generates growth as well. So that, I think that's a big part. The biggest insulation programme we've ever had, 5 million homes will be insulated, starting with social housing. Because obviously you can do that at scale, but it's also the people that need to get their energy bills down in the long run. And again, that creates good skilled jobs for people to do the insulation. There are lots of, I think there are lots of practical things that people will feel from it. And obviously a lot of people in this constituency also raise Brexit with me. We have one of the biggest European populations of any part of the country. So we've said that next year we'll renegotiate the Brexit deal to include alignment on standards in some sectors like, veterinary standards or chemical, things that nobody, even who was a big Brexit fan, didn't want to bring down standards for food, right? That's just nonsensical. And so that would help our small businesses who trade with Europe be able to get more access. But I think my feeling is that there is a lot of investment on the table waiting for this chaos to end. And if they feel like a Labour government with a good majority has come in, puts an end to the chaos we've had, that there will be a kind of growth dividend from that, and that will allow us to spend more on our public services that will have a direct benefit in this community. And just to give you one further example on mental health, we have big mental health issues in this community, and we've said we'll put a mental health advisor in every secondary school. Now, every school I go to, these teachers are struggling with this issue, right? Because they're not only teachers, they're also doing the kind of social work support at the same time. So I think that's a great policy for our area to have that. And that's in the manifesto.
Yeah, my daughter actually moved from KAA, where they do have Place to Be, to Holland Park after the fire because she couldn't really be at school. It was in Porter Cabins up in Shepherd's Bush. And Holland Park, for instance, did not have Place to Be. They had no mental health help. Yeah. You've mentioned growth a couple of times. It's very important. But is there not a trade-off that growth involves a certain amount of environmental destruction? To building is a huge release of carbon. How are you going to create growth without creating environmental destruction?
Well, I think it's the green growth that I was talking about. So if we can transition to net zero is obviously the long-term target, but if we can decarbonize our grid, we can get people transitioning to cheaper and cleaner forms of energy. I think that's kind of a win-win, right? In terms of building, we do need more housing, right? There is a supply problem, but the type of housing we build is really important. And when I look at the quality of some of the new build, we were knocking doors on Wernington Green yesterday, relatively new building, obviously controversial, I know historically, but there are tenants who are already having damp and mold issues, leaks and so on, and that's not environmentally friendly to already be having to do major repairs on a relatively new building. So I think you want to build sustainably, you want to build beautifully as well. If we're going to have a new housing on Kensal Canal side, which is a big brownfield site, and we do need the housing, but it cannot be another Nine Elms development where we have these massive skyscrapers that are all empty, sold off plan, pumping unnecessary carbon into the atmosphere for almost zero community benefit. That is the risk. That's what we've got to avoid. So I agree with you. It's about making those choices, but the only sustainable growth is going to be green growth. And
recently we had Emma Dentcode on Resistance Street, Clash fans against the right. Emma's much loved up here, particularly in North Kensington. I mean, she's helped this radio station. She helped us very much when we were trying to prevent them from knocking down the Silchester estate. What would you say to people who are thinking right now of voting for Emma because they love her and because she has herself great integrity? What would you say to those people?
Well, look, I think Emma has done a fantastic job in shining a light on issues like inequality in this borough, which we know is the highest of any constituency in the country. But Emma knows more than anybody the risk of splitting the vote here. You know, because that's what happened in 2019 when 9,000 people voted for the Liberal Democrats. She knows that full well. So my appeal would be that if you want to change the government and you don't want a Conservative MP for this area, then you need to vote Labour. And I don't want it just to be a negative thing. I want people to vote Labour for all the things we've been talking about. And I want people to vote for me because they have trust in what my values are and how I'll prioritise my time and the type of casework that I'll take on. But the reality is, and we've seen from all of the polling that's out there, is that it will be a two-horse race. And my fear is that if people feel that, you know, oh, Labour's going to win, it doesn't matter, I can vote Green, I can vote Lib Dem, I can vote for an independent, that even if we change the government nationally, you might end up with a Conservative MP continuing here. And the Conservative MP's closing argument for not voting for me is that somehow I'm going to be on Holland Park Avenue with a chainsaw taking down plane trees with Sadiq Khan. It's ludicrous. You know, it's actually really desperate. And I don't think we want that sort of politics. And I think most people understand that. And most residents in this community are actually pretty aware of the electoral maths because they've gone through two very tight elections. So I think people can make their own mind up. I certainly don't want to do any sort of negative campaigning. But our sense is it will be a close race between us and the Conservatives.
Faye, have you got a question?
Yes, thank you. This is like such a unique opportunity for me, and probably Zakia will agree as well, because a lot of people our age don't get to sit down with politicians and actually see that politicians are human beings, and also to find out what their plans are, because myself included, a lot of people my age just aren't interested in politics, completely lost faith in politics, and a lot of us don't actually vote. I haven't voted for a very long time. I think I've voted once in my life. So my question is, what do you think it takes to be in leadership and create change as an individual, as a government, as a party? What do you think it actually takes? Because we hear loads of politicians say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and they don't follow through with it. And it's become a stigma of politicians in general. So that's my first question. My second question is, when you are in power, how are you going to bridge the gap between leadership and the people, the young people, the communities that you're serving? Because not many people actually get to sit down with leadership and hear what their day is like, how busy they are, and to ask them questions.
Yeah. Well, I totally understand why people feel like, why should I bother voting? Doesn't make a difference. You know, it's not going to change my life. Government hasn't been on my side. I totally get it. And I think that's a very understandable position to be in. But that is partly because we have not had a change of government for 14 years, right? If you're an 18-year-old doing your A-levels, you have no memory of anything other than a Conservative government. You know, so I think sometimes people forget things can be different. You know, the NHS waiting list and NHS satisfaction when we left government in 2010 was the lowest and the highest, respectively, right? That it's been, because we put a lot of money and investment into the NHS, and now we know the NHS is really struggling. So I guess my appeal to people is that, especially young people, is that I agree with them that they have been ignored for too long and their interests have been ignored. That's, by the way, one of the reasons I'm quite supportive of electoral reform, because I think young people's voices don't get counted because they're often in cities in safe Labour seats, frankly. Like, this is obviously a very marginal seat, but lots of London isn't. And that's why things like private rented sector reform is so important, right? Giving people greater protection as tenants, all the climate and green stuff I've been talking about. more employment rights, more social and affordable housing. Those things really matter to people, more mental health support. But we have to, we have to communicate it better. But I'm not a person that believes that any individual has the answer. I don't have all the answers. I don't think any politician has all the answers. And the great thing about this constituency, Kensington and Bayswater, is we have such an incredible network of community organisations and faith groups and charities and advice centres and people like Portobello Radio, right? We have lots of people that have lots of ideas about how to improve the area. And so I just feel like you should be working with all those people. Not to say you won't disagree sometimes, right? And sometimes difficult decisions have to be made. But my career has been in how you increase participation, how you're more inclusive, how you give young people more of a voice. And I'm a big fan of things like citizen assemblies, where you actually hand over power, and say, you guys figure out this issue. It's not always for national politicians. A lot of things need to be decided locally. So I think we need a shift. I think British democracy is far too centralised, far too top-down, and as much as I can, I'd like to try and change that culture.
So, what qualities do you need? What qualities do you need as an individual to be a good leader? Like, this is a huge door that's about to open. What qualities do you need? Because some people might think a politician is one way or another, but what demand is that going to make on you to grow as an individual? And also, what demand is that going to make on the Labour Party?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest thing is hearing all of the individual stories of people that have been let down either by local government or national government or housing association or somebody in power, right? So you have to start with empathy. I think that, you have to put yourself in the shoes of people that, have been let down by the system. And then you have to be brave enough to hold those people to account who are responsible for that. For me, that is exactly what we need to do with the next phase of the Grenfell inquiry, right, which is going to report on September 4th. That could be a major first moment, early moment of an incoming Labour government. And I hope, if we have a new Prime Minister, that they will respond and start to implement those recommendations, because we know the previous government didn't implement all the recommendations, including on personalised evacuation plans for disabled people. So that's about holding power to account, and making sure that people in the end are held to account. So, I guess my feeling is you've got to start with empathy. You've got to be accessible, you've got to be visible, you've got to be present in the community, and then you have to be brave enough to take on power and hold it to account.
Joe, if Labour get this super majority that the Tories seem to be so scared of, how will we hold you guys to account?
Yeah, well, supermajority is a made-up word. It doesn't exist in British politics.
No,
right?
it's a technical American expression.
It's a US political term, and it is entirely designed to suppress the Labour vote. That's all they're doing. They're trying to say that the election's done. If you're thinking of not voting, don't bother. Labour's going to win. Vote Green. Vote Lib Dem. Vote whoever you want, because Labour's going to win. That is not our experience in this constituency. That is not what our data is showing. We think it will be much closer than the national polling suggests here. So I, of course, I want there to be a Labour majority government, and I want to be part of that. Of course, I do. That's why we're running for the election. But there are a lot of things that we need to do locally. As I talked about, St Mary's, Grenfell, the housing associations like Octavia, Peabody and Notting Hill Genesis that are not providing a good service to their residents, air pollution, so those are going to be my first priorities, not because I've picked them out of some list. That's what people have told me when I've been knocking on doors and meeting with people. So yeah, I don't, and I live on Lancaster Road. I'm not, it's not hard to find me and hold me to account. And I'm sure lots of people will be the first to tell me if they feel like I've deviated from what they think are the important issues for this community.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Zaki, any more questions? or-
No more questions. Thank you for coming and
Thank you.
explaining your stance to our listeners, and hopefully, people take it in and they read the manifesto and make decisions for themselves.
And I know it's a cliche, but the most important thing is that people do vote on July 4th. You need a photo ID, 7 to 10 p.m. if you haven't already voted by post. But, I looked at the turnout figures for the London elections for lots of our community, and it was very, very low. And I would just appeal to people, this is not a done deal. If you want to change the government, you've got to get out and vote on July 4th, and you've got to vote Labour.
Yeah. Well, I've already done it. I'm putting my cards on the table.
I think I'll be voting this year.
Yeah, my daughter's going to be voting for the first time. She's very excited. She's come back from South Korea, where she's at university. I think you'll have an X against your she'll have an X against your name. Thank you so much for coming in, Joe. You are putting yourself about, and you're making sure that people can ask you the questions, and that's in a way all we can expect of you. Here we go. Otis Redding. Thank you for listening. This has been Portobello Radio.
I was born by a river, in this little old town, just like this river. I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change has gotta come now. Ooh, yes it is now. Oh my, oh my, oh my. It's been too hard living, oh my. And I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the clouds. It's been a long time coming. I know, change has gotta come. Oh, yes, it is now. There's a time I will go to my brother. Oh, I've asked my brother, will you help me please? Oh, now, he turned me down, and then I asked my dear mother. Oh, I said, mother, I'm down on my knees. It's been a time that I thought, Lord, this could last very long. Somehow I thought I was still able to try to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come. Oh, yes it is. Just like I said, I went to my little bitty brother. Oh, my little brother. I asked my brother, help me please. Oh, now. He turned me down, and then I go to my little mother, my dear mother. Oh, now. I said, mother, I'm down on my knees. But there was a time that I thought, Lord, this could last so very long. Oh, man. Somehow I thought I was still able to try to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gotta come. Ooh. It's been
Local radio for local people.